Hello, welcome to the Life on Her Terms show. My name is Rachel Reva. I'm founder of lifeonhertermsmedia. We help Christian women in business land media coverage and become thought leaders in their industry. It is my absolute pleasure to bring with you some training. I am bringing you some real talk today, something that is going to encourage you. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you're in business, I'm sure you've had some of these moments where you've just had a hard day. Maybe a hard week, maybe a hard month, or just an entire hard season like they talk about in the Bible. Well, I want to share something with you, and I'm just going to get real. This is the type of real I get with my clients. This is what people in our mastermind hear me talk about all the time. But I want to talk to you seriously, like sister to sister, about what it takes to run a business as a Christian female entrepreneur. And this is talking about running it God's way, not the world's way. And there are certain principles that may overlap. But the truth is, there are two issues I see pop up constantly, specifically around Christian women in business. And I'm going to give you two reasons that your business is not where you want it to be right now. Okay, this is real talk, all right? So if you're into something, if you just want some encouragement and light and fluffy things, click on to some of my other episodes because I guarantee you I've got some of that there. But today, I'm literally wanting to talk to you about what it really takes to run a business as a Christian woman. And I'm talking to the woman specifically that God has called to create an empire. You're not interested in the side hustle life. You actually want something that is going to create an impact and a change in the world. You're a game changer. That's who you are. So that is who I'm talking to today. And I can tell you, when I actually look at the women I've worked with and even my own business journey, I can honestly say there are two main things that are holding most of you back. And if you do not have these, or if you do not change these things, you will stay right stuck where you are. And I promise you that is not what we want for you. And that is not what God wants for you. Remember what Jeremiah 29:11 says. I know the plans I have for you is to prosper you. It's to give you more. It's so that you can have everything more abundantly, to give you a hope in a future. That is the God we serve, right? He didn't call you to business just to get by. Okay, so I'm going to give it to you. Ready for the first one? Number one is your wealth mindset. She's already talking about money. Oh my gosh, she's a Christian. How can I talk about that? Money is such a sensitive and divisive issue, yet it's so essential and necessary in the world we do live in. Yes, you do need to rely on God, but the truth is, and I'm going to, first, before I even get into scripture, let me take it back to Billy Graham. You remember him? Heard of that guy? He would even say, you have got to find a way to monetize your ministry. And lady, believe it or not, your business is your ministry. I don't care what you do. You could be delivering bagels on a truck. You could be designing homes. You could be coaching like I do. You are doing God's work. That is your ministry. It may not be within the confines of a church, but actually, you're the light in the world, which is just as beautiful, if not more important in a way. So do not be afraid of not just charging, but like charging the value of what you give. And there are plenty of ways to do that. And I can go into more details about that another time. But the truth is, it's all about your wealth mindset. And here's what I need you to know. You've got to sell your products or sell your services so you can serve. One of the biggest issues I see is so many women coming to me, they've just given and given and given and given out of this service mentality. And you were never meant to only give and get nothing back. That is not a business. That is a hobby. If anything, even people get paid for hobbies. So you've got to find a way to monetize your business. And the reason people don't, or they go, well, I'm a Christian, I should give this away. That is not true. There are plenty of Christian millionaires. There are plenty of them out there. And that does not make them, poverty does not make you more holy. Struggling to make your team staff each month does not make you more holy. You don't get in front of the line in heaven because you had less money in your bank account. More money just reveals more of who you are. And even Billy Graham, he knew he had to find a way to monetize his ministry so his impact could continue to grow. And he did it amongst a lot of criticism at the time. And it was interesting. I actually think Billy Graham understood publicity more than anyone in the world. He used every channel he had available. And God is calling us to do the same thing. Whatever tools or strategies you have available at your fingertips, look, you can press live and go live right now. You can go and talk about the message God has given you, and you can also offer your service and get paid for it. So let's talk about wealth mindset just a little bit more. When it comes to wealth, here's the thing. I believe that your wealth mindset, and anything in business that you're willing or not willing to invest to completely ties in your faith relationship with your creator. It absolutely does. I did not realize this when I started my own journey. I thought I had a really good wealth mindset, but every time it came to like increase my rates, I was like, oh, will people pay that? And am I good enough? And all this imposter syndrome came up and all this type of stuff. I get it. I have been there, but you cannot stay broke and serving. You can't do it. So you need to sell what you have. You need to discover the art of sales, and I call it authentic selling because I believe you sell with intention, sell with integrity. It's not a sleazy, it's not a sleazy used car salesman kind of give. It's, I have this offer. Does this work for you? Do you and I work together? Does it align? Can it help you? Can I help you? And by the way, if people don't pay for it, they don't value it. I know this from experience, but what other people have told me as well. And can I just say, even in your own faith journey, God has ever just given you something, you're like, thanks God, and you just don't value it, but something you've had to work and wait for and cry for and hustle for and patiently sit for and fast for, and then you get it, you're like, oh, I'm never going to let it go, God, because you have had to sacrifice something. Don't take away the gift of people. I've joined programs that were like really not much money, and I'm like, I got something out of it. But ones that have really stretched me financially, I have squeezed every piece of value that I could out of it and then some. And that is, you really are selling to serve people where they're at. So number one, you're not where you want to be at in business because your wealth mindset is not strong. How do you do that? You're like, but Rachel, we're a Christian. What do I need to do? Well, the first thing you do is go back to the Bible, because kingdom wealth is generational. Riches are not only for self. And one of the biggest differences between the wealth mindset of perhaps just a normal business person who doesn't have a relationship with our creator, they would be probably more self-focused than we would. But here's the thing. You need to know you're building wealth not just for you. It's A, so you can serve more and have a greater impact. But B, it's generational. So let's look at, we serve a generational God, okay? Each generation has a responsibility to leave an inheritance to future generations because you are planting legacies. So in Genesis 15:15, it says, then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have. A lot of the modern self-help books nowadays talk about go and stop at nothing until you've reached your goal. Well, sometimes you're just planting a tree that you may not be able to see the full tree. You'll be able to see a bit of it though, if you plant it now. Wealth mindset is everything, because if you do not value yourself financially, no one else will do it for you. Okay? And you will not be able to serve and thrive at your highest level. Have you ever taken on a client because you kind of needed the money, so you gave a major discount and they're already draining you and you kind of half resent them already? That's when you know your wealth mindset is totally out of whack. I have no problems refusing people who are not suitable for my programs now. There was a time I would have said yes because I needed the money. But even now, if I feel the need for the money, I do not let that supersede my decision about who I take on in business, because I know that God is my source, not my clients. Your wealth mindset is everything. And yes, it comes directly from God. A strong wealth mindset means that you have a strong faith and connection with our Creator. So if you don't feel you have a strong one, number one, get a good one, okay? Take it to God. God, what gaps are here? What do you need to show me? You may be very surprised at the answers that come up. So if you're not where you want to be yet in business, look at your wealth mindset. That's number one. And you might need to even raise your rates too. That's a different topic, okay, for another time. Number two, your community, your network. You've probably heard the saying that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend time with, okay? Well, Harvard took this even further. And they said, I believe it was Harvard, it was one of the top colleges. They said, your salary and your income will directly reflect and be an average of the top 5 people you spend time with. So think of your circle and the people you're messaging all the time, that you're chatting to, that you're connecting with. Think of those people who know your stuff, your intimate circle. How much money do you think they have? You may even know. Well, your salary will be the average of those 5 people. If that doesn't launch you into action of creating a bigger circle for yourself, or getting more people in that circle, or maybe swapping some completely, I don't know what will. Statistics even show who you hang out with will reflect your wealth. And that's why we pay money to be part of certain communities and go to certain events and, have a coach or a trainer or this or that, because you need to get with someone. You want to know what's the main difference? It's not the clothes they wear. It's the conversations they have. Their conversations are completely different. There are certain places I can go into and I know exactly what's going to happen. There are certain places that kind of make me uncomfortable, but I will go into because I know the conversations they have will help me get to my next level. It's a little bit intimidating, but it's also really nice. Then there's the other places I go when I don't want to talk about business. I just want to hang out and be me. I just want to hang out and be me, and we can talk about high school and we can talk about the Kardashians or we can talk about this or that. But I mean, I can tell you the circle looks very different. Now, I'm not criticizing it. It's not a bad thing, but I'm telling you the truth. Your network will show up in your bank account. So if you are not part of a network of women who are high achieving Christian women in business and not just, oh, I've got a side hustle and if God wants to bless it, he will. No, God is waiting for you to take action. Never in my life has God sat there and go, okay, well, I'll bless it and then you can do it. No, that is not what he did. That is not what he did to Moses. That is not what he did to Esther. He's going, you go and I'll show you how. You go and I will show you the way. That is what he requires of you. So you need to take action and get around a group of like-minded women who will hold you and challenge you and cheerlead you and encourage you to get visible and step out in a way you haven't before. So, lady, I want to say this to you. If you have not achieved what you feel you need to achieve in this business, if you are not at the level of impact God has called you to, look at your wealth mindset, honestly. Have an honest look in the mirror and say, what's holding me back here? Is my wealth mindset in a good place? Your bank account will tell you if it is or not, by the way. And most of you will know straight away. You don't have to examine this too much. And if you're not sure, you take it to God. He gives you everything. Number 2, you're commuting your network. How do you know if it's time to move on? Well, I can tell you because even when you start a business, it's a big pool. A lot of people in different places in their business. There's also a lot of different mindsets. And you will find a lot of people are only comfortable investing to a certain level and then they just plateau because they really can't or feel they can't go to another level. Your next level requires a decision. That is the truth. In your community, if you do not see, I remember I signed up to a program once and I was one of the youngest and least experienced business people there. I'd only just started my business and I was so intimidated. At first, for about 3 months, I just hid because I was so intimidated. These women were making money I couldn't even fathom at that point in business. They were achieving things that I was like, God, maybe in 5 or 10 years I could. I mean, it was intimidating. But then I said, no, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm going to be inspired by these women because they showed me what was possible. And they encouraged me to challenge myself. And I did. So I went a lot further in a 12-month time frame than I ever would have by myself because I saw it was possible. Take the limits off God, take the limits off yourself and say, God, what is possible for me right now? What do you want me to step into? And if your community, your network is not showing you that, honey, you're in the wrong room. We have a 12-month mastermind. It's a beautiful sisterhood, and it's only for Christian women in business who are ready to go to the next level and get visible and master their message and get featured in the media and just step into their yes. It's the generation of the Esthers. And if you're an Esther, it is your time, lady. So what is stopping you? So if you'd like to hear more about that mastermind, it is application only. We will put a link below so you can click and find out more details about that program. But more than anything, I really just want to encourage you today. I want to encourage you to step out and say yes. You know there's that one thing you should be doing. Maybe it's going live on Instagram or doing a reel or reaching out to that influencer. Maybe it is pitching yourself or writing that article or just publishing that blog again. Get visible. There's no time like the present. Get around people who already are where you want to be. That's what you need to do. So if you're not where you want to be, I hope you've enjoyed this Real Talk Rach session today. But my heart, my authenticity comes from my heart for you, and it is to serve. And I just want you to know that if you feel God has something more for you, He does. He does. You don't have to stay where you're at. It is absolutely possible. But your wealth mindset is so important. Okay? Look in the Bible. Start looking at what it says about money if this is challenging you. And number 2, last but not least, get around a different set of women. Women who are you don't have to hide your light. This is about shining your light. Like that song that we grew up with in children's church. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I will start going. I better stop singing. But the point is, you should have never stopped dimming it in the first place. All right? Because you've got this. It is your time, lady. So I hope you've enjoyed today's training. And if it's encouraged or inspired you a little bit, please do hit subscribe if you like more content like this. And comment below, how's your wealth mindset? Do you need a new community? Share any takeaways that you have below. I will personally reply to each one. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day and sending you much love and peaches. Bye.